everyone. Karen Roby here with Brandon Villarolo for Tech Republic. Brandon, haven't seen you in a while. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you too.
Thank you so much. We've talked in the past about many different facets of technology, and AI is one of those topics that we do hit on a good bit. And a new report out that you've put a story together here focuses on, the future of AI, and it states it may not be quite as rosy as we think. What does this actually say?
Yeah, no, the report basically it's a premium Gartner report, but it combines five research sort of breakdowns on the future of AI. It really goes into kind of a 5-year prediction, particularly looking at the second order consequences of widespread AI and machine learning algorithms in the workplace and in business. And by second order, Gartner's saying basically, we know what the primary outcomes of AI usage is, right? We collate the data, we gather the data, we use it. But the second order consequences are things that we're not necessarily looking at when we're first rolling these things out. So it's things like privacy or, ethics in AI usage and all these kind of different second order consequences. And basically what they're saying is that's going to be a big deal in the next 5 years.
Yeah, it certainly sounds like it, Brandon. And I think that there, were some statistics in this report that will really stand out to people.
Yeah, so some of the ones that really popped out to me were one of the ones that got me the most. Uh, Gartner predicts that in the next 5 years, or by 2025, 75% of workplace conversations are going to be recorded and analyzed by AI. And the reason for this is that they can use it to sort of assess risk and also sort of determine best business practices based on what their employees are saying. But they said that it could be misused to do things like deciding who gets a raise. Say you say something bad about your boss or that you don't like the way they're doing something. That could factor into your performance reviews later on. Also, let's see, by 2023, this report says that 20% of account takeovers are going to be using deep fakes for social engineering attacks because they're becoming incredibly good. They're incredibly hard to recognize, and they're going to become the norm in social engineering attacks. Why fool someone with poorly written text when you can do a video call using a virtual avatar that looks like somebody they can trust? They also mentioned that deepfake recognition technology is likely only going to top out at around 50% accuracy in the same time frame. So we're looking at something that's going to be pervasive and also really hard to detect. Also by 2025, and this is a little more hard and requires some more reading into the report, but they said 1% of vendors are going to control the vast majority of pre-trained AI models. And what that means basically is companies like OpenAI, Google, Amazon, Microsoft, those are the companies that are going to have the bulk of these pre-trained models. And they're the ones that are going to be selling it. And Gartner thinks, and I agree with them, this is going to kind of cause a societal issue or a sort of, ethical concern is, if we're using these same models across lots of different platforms by these few vendors, we're looking at potential bias in their algorithms becoming widespread, or certain security flaws becoming pervasive and everywhere. So, having 1% of vendors control all these popular AI technologies it's going to be harmful just as much as 75% of workplace recordings or conversations being recorded.
Yeah, concerning to say the least, Brandon. And there's so much to unpack in this report, and a lot of things that are concerning. Is there any one big takeaway that really stands out to you for businesses here?
Yeah, businesses that are hearing these things and are a little concerned. I think the biggest takeaway that seems to run through this report is ethics. AI ethics is going to be a big deal in the next few years. If you're the kind of company that's going to be using software, or you think it sounds like a good idea to use software to record and analyze conversations in the workplace, you need to set up a committee that is, consists of both managing individuals and employees, and determine what appropriate use of this is going to be and what the scope of the monitoring is going to be. Or if you're going to be selling AI or using it, you need to have an ethics panel that's being sure that documents are cryptographically signed. One of the things I say in that article is it's going to be hard to trust your own eyes because generative AI and deepfakes are becoming so good. So you need to have software in place that signs these images or even calls between other people so you can tell they're not being tampered with. Make sure if you're buying into an AI platform or getting with a vendor that they sign on to the same kind of ethical things to do with AI that you do, because that way that at least if you're going to buy this product, you can be assured that whatever information is getting fed to them is going to be treated in the same way you want it to be treated. So it's all going to be about ethics and figuring out how to navigate this new kind of ethical framework around widespread AI.
Most of that, if not all of it, at least what you've covered thus far, Brandon, is pretty scary and more on the negative side. So let's flip the script a little bit here. What about positive? Any silver lining? Any information coming out in the report in that way?
I mean, from what I read in it, it's overwhelmingly pessimistic. I mean, to me, there might be some goods to take away from it. A couple areas that I kind of jumped out to me first are, okay, well, these are going to be widespread pieces of software. Gartner thinks that no matter how these are treated in the next 5 years, they're going to be sort of the new norm. So if you're a developer or a software engineer that has training in AI, it's going to be a good next half a decade for you. Also, and this might just kind of be my own bias talking, I got a philosophy undergraduate degree when I was at university, and hearing all this talk about ethics and the rules and how we should be treating both individuals and how we should be using AI, that really kind of gives me hope that maybe there'll be some renewed interest in professional ethicists or philosophers who can talk about these things and help companies make determinations that are in the social good category for both their employees and customers.
Yeah, I'd say that's definitely something that we're going to need, going forward, Brandon. Well, finally, before we wrap up here, it seems for so long when we've heard so much about AI, and you've noted that people would think that the future is so rosy, but we have heard about bias, and we've talked about that a lot. But a lot of this negative, we're just finally hearing more about it and talking more about it, and that's what needs to happen so people are aware.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, AI can definitely do a lot of good things. It can save countless man hours, get individuals out of the drudgery of tech work and put them into more creative projects. It can create new jobs we didn't think of before, that are more creative than what would have been around prior to the invention of AI that can collate all that data for us. So that there's positives to be gained, but with any new technology, you're going to have one good thing, but then you're going to have several other bad things that pop up. It's like patching any bug in a software, right? You fix one bug and 5 more pop up. So you got to be aware of the possibilities that when you're fixing this bug or introducing this new product, that what's going to be the potential consequences of it.
Yep, got to find a balance for sure. Brandon, thank you so much for this. For much more on AI and this report specifically from Gartner, make sure you check out Brandon's full article on Tech Republic. Thanks for watching.